Am I the only one that thinks this year is speeding by? I feel like I'm constantly running behind. I mean, May is over, we're already into June. What am I gonna do with all these Justin Timberlake memes?
It's gonna be
June. It's just not the same. Anyways, even though May went by in a blink of an eye, I still got the chance to play some pretty awesome games. So, if you want to know what my top 5 games were in the month of May, might I suggest? Hi, I'm Alex and welcome to Might I Suggest a Game, a channel devoted to helping you find your perfect board game. Today, I'm going to give you a rundown of all the games I played in May, and then give some of my patented Sommelier suggestions for my 5 favorites. But before we get started, I want to know what your favorite game is that you played recently. So, here's a challenge. In the comments below, tell me about a game you played in May in a way that'll convince me to play it in the month of June. To be fair, I usually don't need much convincing when it comes to playing new games, but do your best. And while you're there, don't forget to hit subscribe and that little bell button too so that you can get notifications when I post new content. Alright, back to it. In May, I played a total of 15 unique board games, some once, some multiple times. I always love bringing new games to the table, but I'm only going to talk about my top 5 in this episode, so here's my honorable mentions. In May, I played Patchwork, Point Salad, Vegas the Dice Game, Q's and Q's, Spicy, Machikoro, Draftosaurus, and the Pokemon Trading Card Game. Honestly, when I think about those honorable mentions, I'm like, dang, those are some pretty good games. Which means my top 5 must be friggin' sick!
Freaking sick, dude! Oh! Shred it, bro!
Anyways, will one of my top 5 games in May be the perfect game for you? Let's find out, shall we? At number 5, we have The Initiative, a cool, escape roomy adventure game for 2 to 4 players from unexpected games. If you follow my channel, then you should know all about this one, and if you don't, then check out my latest video about this awesome game. But make sure you open that link in a new tab because you're gonna want to stick around for the rest of this list. I promise, it's
Freaking sick, dude!
At number 4, we have Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space, an awesome hidden role, hidden movement game for 2 to 8 players from Osprey Games. In Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space, you're either on Team Human and trying to bust out via the escape pods, or you're on Team Alien and, you just kind of have to
kill all humans. Must kill all humans.
Bender, wake up!
I was having the most wonderful dream. I think you were in it.
To begin the game, nobody knows what anybody else's role is, so you'll be trying to deduce everyone's goals as well as everyone's position on the board throughout the game. As you move, you'll encounter dangerous hexes that will make you draw cards that could potentially reveal your location. But with cards in the deck that also allow you to bluff, you're constantly guessing and second-guessing every player's movements. The game plays with up to 8 players, and it really plays well with all player counts because of the different maps and difficulty levels that you can use. Anyways, here's my recommendations for the type of people that I think would really like Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space. First, if you're at all a fan of the Alien franchise and you've always wanted to know what it feels like to be a xenomorph on the prowl, then you should check out this game. Second, if you grew up playing Battleship and you love that back and forth tension of trying to track down your hidden opponent and outwit them on the battlefield, then you should definitely check out this game. And lastly, if you're just looking for a new take on a hidden role game that's easy to learn but super tricky to master and has almost endless replayability, then might I suggest Escape from the Aliens in Outer Space. At number 3, we have Inish, a great gateway dudes on a map game for 2 to 4 players from Matago. Inish is like if you took the luck factor out of Risk and replaced it with some very strategic, highly chaotic Celtic gods. In Inish, you'll be drafting action cards to discover new lands, propagate your clans, build new structures, or clash with your opponents. There's a finite set of actions that can be taken in each round, so you'll need to be flexible in your strategy to not only build your empire, but also prevent others from tearing it down. Inish felt like a back and forth chess match the whole time, especially as more and more epic tales cards were introduced. These cards represent the influence of Irish gods and heroes, so it's only fitting that they could turn the tides of a battle or help you perform legendary actions. Inish was super easy to pick up, especially with a game that looks as intricate as it does. I mean, look at these pieces! They're
Freaking sick, dude!
One playthrough just made me want to try this game again and again, and with all the different player counts as well. So don't be surprised if you see this one on June's recap too. Anyways, here's my recommendations for the type of people that I think would really like Inish. First, if you're a big fan of mythology and fantasy, and you want your chance at playing God in a vaguely Lord of the Rings-esque environment, then you should check out this game. Second, if you're really into the idea of Risk, but you're looking for something that, doesn't take 10 hours to play, then you should definitely check out this game. And lastly, if you're just looking for a great gateway into war games with simple gameplay that leads to some surprisingly complex strategy and a beautiful set of art and components to boot, then might I suggest Inish. At number 2 in May, we have Cartographers, a fantasy-themed flip-and-write game for 1 to 100 players from Thunderworks Games. Now, I'll be the first to admit that I'm late to this hype train. People have been touting Cartographers for years now, and I'm just now pulling the trigger on this one. But now I see why people love this game. The gameplay is so simple that it's super easy to get to the table for gamers and non-gamers alike. All you do is flip over cards with various shapes on them and draw those on your board to create your unique map. Everyone's working with the same resources and the same objectives, so your strategy is really the only thing that sets you apart. Another thing I loved, and loved to hate, was the ambush cards. Being able to tamper with your opponent's map from time to time really gives Cartographers a much needed dose of player interaction that most roll and writes lack. Overall, Cartographers was quick, easy, and fun, and will certainly become a game night staple once things open back up. Anyways, here's my recommendations for the types of people that I think would really like Cartographers. First, if Tetris was your game back in the day and you still get that crazy theme song stuck in your head from time to time, then you should check out this game. Second, if you jumped on the Marie Kondo train at the beginning of quarantine and you've developed a penchant for fitting everything in its perfect little place, then you should definitely check out this game. And lastly, if you're just looking for a compact game that's easy to learn and teach and plays just as well with one player as it does with 100, then might I suggest Cartographers. At number 1, my favorite game I played in May was Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig, a semi-cooperative castle-building game for 3 to 7 players from Bezier and Stonemaier Games. Between Two Castles is a perfect mashup of its predecessors, Between Two Cities and Castles of Mad King Ludwig, and I found that the difficulty level was pretty perfectly split between those games as well. In Between Two Castles, you'll be drafting different wacky room tiles to place in your 2 castles, one shared with the player on your left and one shared with the player on your right. Once you've selected your room for each castle, you'll pass your remaining tiles to the next player, which adds some strategy to what you choose and when you choose it. Personally, I love the fun and crazy building puzzle of Castles of Mad King Ludwig, and I love the working together with your neighbors aspect of Between Two Cities. This game marries those two concepts into one perfectly balanced and tense game that I really enjoyed. In fact, I enjoyed it so much that I'm planning on doing another video on this game with some more in-depth tasting notes, so stay tuned to the channel for that one. Anyways, here are my recommendations for the types of people that I think would really like Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig. First, if you got hooked on HGTV during the pandemic and you need room inspiration for that fixer-upper that you just bought, then you should check out this game. Second, if you used to go hard in The Sims and you never let logic stand in the way of you making a ridiculous floor plan with a swimming pool in the middle of your house, then you should definitely check out this game. And lastly, if you played either of its parent games, or if you're just looking for something medium light that has the perfect mix of semi-cooperative and semi-competitive, then might I suggest Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig. Thanks so much for sticking around for my Sommelier suggestions. I hope June brings a chance for you to try some of these games, and I hope you enjoy them as much as I did. If you've got any ideas on games that I should break out this month, then drop them below in the comments. Thanks again for all your support so far. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so I can keep growing this channel and keep helping you find your perfect board game. Once again, this has been a Might I Suggest a Game production, and I'm Alex, your board game sommelier, signing off.